Hello, and welcome back to another teacher tip video with Alessia's Academy. In today's teacher tip video, I'll be going through a couple of book suggestions that we have for you. Today I will give you a list of some of my favorite books that I've read so far in my life. I hope they bring you as much joy as they've brought me. We'll be starting with fiction. The two books I have to recommend to you for fiction are East West by Sam and Rushdie and Cabbage Diary, a documentary by Juan Butler. East West was an excellent novel by Sam and Rushdie because it shows the differences and the common ground between these two parts of the world. I enjoyed the format and collection of stories that make up this book. Especially when you're pressed for time and don't have a lot of time to read, it's nice being able to kind of finish one of the short stories at a time, instead of dedicating yourself to a full novel all at once. Cabbage Diary, a documentary by Juan Butler, was something I found really interesting since we're based here in Toronto. Being part of a multicultural society can be incredibly beautiful, but also difficult at times, and this book shows that balance beautifully. Cabbage Diary depicts the lives of many characters who come to a community center program and the lives they live outside of it. Such a compelling novel. I ended up finishing it within a few days. The two books I'll be recommending for our romance section is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston and Just Breathe by Susan Wiggs. One Last Stop is a 2S LGBTQ+ romance novel that I really enjoyed. It is as much a historical mystery as a romance about doing everything you can for the one that you love. I really enjoyed this. It's in the YA section, and it's something that's pretty quick to read through. Just Breathe by Susan Wiggs. Susan Wiggs has many books to choose from if you enjoy her writing style. Just Breathe was my favorite because it is as much about standing on your own 2 feet as it is about knowing you deserve to be treated right. There are so many twists and turns in this novel that have you coming back and rethinking the life of the character. It's absolutely wonderful, and I really enjoyed it. It's not your typical romance novel, but I really like that about it. In the supernatural and fantasy fiction category, I've recommended Bitten by Kelly Armstrong and Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. Kelly Armstrong is an excellent author, and Bitten was the first book of the first series that she ever did. If you like her writing style, she has many other series and books for you to explore. She made me fall in love with reading again when I was in high school and didn't always have a lot of time for it. Her novels are the things that kept me reading, even outside of school. One of the things I really like about her series is it's not the typical werewolf and vampire thing, but she has so many other supernaturals that slowly get released throughout more and more books that she's done. Absolutely phenomenal writer. Patricia Briggs also has many series if you enjoy her writing style. Her books have a lot of action that keep you on the edge of your seat all the way through. Moon Called was the first book of hers that I read, and now I buy every book that she comes out with. The action-packed drama of this series is unparalleled to anything else I've read so far. You'll find that her books are quite fast-paced once you get into them. In the 2S LGBTQ+ series, I'm recommending George by Alex Gino and Girl Man's Up by M.E. Girard. George was an excellent novel about a youth being given the opportunity to be themselves. With the help of a friend, George will show everyone that she is a girl and not the boy that they think she is. It was such a compelling novel, also in the YA section, and very, very interesting to read. I really enjoyed the whole way through, and I finished it quite quickly. Girl Man's Up by M.E. Girard is also another YA teen novel. YA stands for young adult, by the way. Growing up isn't easy, and parents don't always understand who we are. Girl Man's Up was very meaningful to me, as it showed the difficulties of having parents who don't understand you, but also the importance of having your own village of people who support you and love you for you. This was such an important coming-of-age novel, and I thought it was really fantastic the way they explained the family dynamics that were going on. Our next category is coming-of-age novels. For this one, I have I'll Give You the Sun by Yandy Nelson and The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I'll Give You the Sun is an excellent book because it truly helps people to understand the full range of human emotions people experience through difficulties in their life. It follows twins and the different ways that they deal with lost love in life while growing up. I found this one very interesting, and I like the mystery that's built into the book. I think the author did an absolutely fantastic job of keeping the reader engaged throughout the entire novel. The Hate You Give was one of those books that breaks your heart, but you just can't put it down. I feel like it does an excellent job of describing the feelings of the protagonist as she navigates difficulties in her life in high school. This is definitely a book you can't put down once you start reading. I think Angie Thomas did such a beautiful job of being able to relate the experiences of her community and all of the tragedies, unfortunately, that they've had to go through. I found this novel so incredibly important, and I really enjoyed the read. It was very, very well done. Our next category is wellness and self-help. For this one, I would recommend reading The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, and also I Wish My Teacher Knew by Kyle Schwartz. The Gifts of Imperfection was a book that helped me quite a bit while I was on my own healing journey. It helped to teach me the fallacy of perfection, the importance of vulnerability, and why good enough is often much better for our health. I think this is a great book to start with on any healing journey that you're on, no matter what you're dealing with. It really helps you to understand that taking care of yourself is the most important thing. I Wish My Teacher Knew by Kyle Schwartz was a novel that I read at the start of my own teaching career. This was a movement that actually started in the US, where a teacher allowed her students to anonymously write about the things that they were experiencing. It helped people to understand that children are sometimes handling very adult problems in their lives. As a teacher, I always make extra time for students that need it, for exactly the reasons listed in this book. It is an absolutely incredible read. The reason I really like this is that it really shows us we are all a lot more connected than we think. Our next category is Indigenous fiction. For this one, I would recommend reading The Marrow Thieves by Sherry Dimeline and Coyote Tales by Thomas King. The Marrow Thieves is something I can't get enough of. The amount of symbolism in this novel had and still has me contemplating all of the ways that it can mirror what people today and in the past have gone through by showing them in powerful ways. It is an absolutely fantastic book and had me reading everything else Sherry Dimeline has written as well. She's an incredibly captivating author, and from this novel, I've enjoyed so many of her other works. I would highly recommend it. Thomas King is an incredible author. He's also fantastic and has so many works that are written. I would encourage you to read all of his works if you can, but if you choose only one, this was a pretty fun one to read. It follows the stories of the trickster Coyote and all of the trouble he can get into. This was a really fun read that you could finish in a day or so. It's pretty short. And once you get a taste for his writing style, again, please look at his other books. Thomas King is so incredibly talented. I've enjoyed many of his plays as well. And in our final category of our book recommendations is Indigenous nonfiction. For this, I would recommend reading Seven Fallen Feathers by Tanya Talega and Ideas to Postpone the End of the World by Alton Krenek. Seven Fallen Feathers is an important piece of history that needed to be told. I found it to be an incredibly heartbreaking but necessary read. Tanya Talega has masterfully followed the stories of 7 students who had died in Thunder Bay, Ontario, while trying to pursue their high school education. It was a story that showcased the struggles and human rights violations that many Indigenous peoples still face in Canada, and I would highly recommend everyone to read it. In my opinion, this should be part of the curriculum in every province Canada-wide. What I really appreciated about this book was the way that she brought in colonialism and the historical past of Canada between the settlers and Indigenous people with what's actually happening in current day and some of the things that they're still trying to navigate. I thought it was such a beautiful blend of current events and historical past. Incredible, incredible read. Ideas to Postpone the End of the World was a university lecture turned book and was so powerful to read. It is spoken from the lens of an Indigenous man from Brazil, Alton Krenek, who tries to teach us that we need to care about more than ourselves. It is through our unfortunate definition and ideas of what humanity is that prevents us from truly living in balance in our world and has led to our current climate crisis. Although it's a short book, I recommend taking your time with each chapter so that you can really let his teachings sit with you and better develop your own understanding of the contributions you can make to heal our world. Such a fantastic read. I am so grateful that they turned it into a book. So what are you currently reading? Let us know in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos that teach you how to learn for life and get through school while taking care of yourself. Until next time, see you soon.